Gosh, you know what I really loved about this film? Her dead husband. Yeah, in case you didn't realize, because her husband is dead. She's got a dead husband who's dead. He is or was her husband, but he is dead now. Dead husband.
Today's the day.
Okay, I'll admit off the bat that I just looked at the trailer for this one. My only thought was, oof, just never had any interest in it. And I don't really appreciate a lot of PG-13 horror. I don't know if anyone's kidding with that. You can get away with, like, family-friendly horror films, like, properly, like, kiddie kind of based ones. And you can get away with adult horror films. The blending, the middle places where it really just doesn't work for me. Anyway, I feel like Blumhouse is going through an identity crisis because they were kind of the leading industry like studio for mainly horror movies until A24 decided to become like 10% more accessible. And now they have no idea what they're doing. They're just hitting balls right at their own face. Yeah, this was a mess. The Woman in the Yard is about a family going through a period of grief since their patriarch died, leaving Danielle Deadwyler and her two kids feeling sad in a big house in the middle of nowhere. There is just so much more you could have done with that concept. So they wake up one morning and their power is out, their chickens are dead as hell, and there's a woman covered in black sitting in their garden. So they start charging her rent. No, they just try everything except walking to the neighbors. They mention the neighbors like 2 miles away, like, she doesn't move from the chair for a really long time. Like, they could have... Doesn't matter. So, she is a very creepy lady. She says things like, today's the day, and I'm the Babadook. No, shit, that's the wrong film. But it is a film that really likes to tackle the idea of grief and depression and grief and women in black and grief. To be fair to this film, I didn't really enjoy the Babadook either that much, so... Maybe it's just me, or maybe films about grief and depression and nothing else are not that fun to watch. Crazy, isn't it? So this has got all the setup of a Scooby-Doo adventure. You know, she turns up and they go, Jinkies! And then they run around in a circle and have no idea what to do with themselves. And, God, that is, you would think, oh, it's The Woman in the Yard, but it's not just a film about a woman sitting in a yard. It can't be that boring. Like, it's not entirely, but honestly, it's a lot more just them sitting watching her, waiting for her to do something than you would expect it to be. This film has one thing it does. That's it. It doesn't even try to do anything else to the degree of, like, having common sense or interesting scenes out with that. No, it's about grief and depression, and that is all it knows how to do. And it really does. They go on and they unmask the monster Scooby-Doo style to reveal that there was no monster all along, or maybe there was. I'm not entirely sure on that point, honestly. You could do other stuff here. I get the point because it was glaringly obvious, but you don't have to make the point at the level of sacrificing any of the third act even making sense, for example. It is the holy trinity for me of sad, because it is a film about grief and depression. Like, that's not happy. Boring, because honestly, it just doesn't have a lot going on, doesn't try to make anything more happen, and confusing. Because even though I get what the point is, I'm still left wondering why they did a lot of that stuff in the third act. Like, I think the moment I realized earlier than they revealed it what the whole representation of the woman in the yard was and what was going on there, it just took all of the light wind they'd built up out of the seals and left me going, fuck. Woman in the Yard is a film that... It's got a great performance by Danielle Deadwyler, can't really argue with that. It's got a couple of very strong kid actors in it. It's got okay direction with some nice visuals, but very confused direction, honestly. And a script that is worse, it is more confused, and honestly it has a lot of splaining left to do by the end. Yeah, this kind of delved into the area where I don't expect, like, a film released in cinemas to be that bad, It's kind of rough, and it honestly reminds me of when Blumhouse did that, like, project with Amazon Prime during, like, COVID, that kind of time, where they released, like, batches of TV horror movies. Those were rough. I think I saw maybe all of them, and they were not good, yeah. I'm giving The Woman in Black 1.5 stars. At one point, a lot of stuff is, like, magically fixed in this film all of a sudden, and it doesn't show whether she actually, like, killed the chickens or whether they're okay, and that leaves me with the most burning question of all, because all of the other things I'm confused about here, I don't even know what questions to ask. That's how confusing it gets. Yeah, subscribe for stuff.